Good morning, little detectives. Wasn't yesterday fun being a detective? Today, we can continue to be detectives. We're going to learn how to write a summary for the tiny seed. Let's get started, little detectives.
All right, little detectives, get out the following sheet so we can get started. Get out your questions. This will help us when we're trying to do our summary. It gives us some ideas of some things to ask ourselves. Get out your 5W summary sheet, and on the back side of that, you should see the sheet that says summary. I'll give you a couple seconds. Get those out. All right, everybody, so let's look at this sheet first. This is a great little piece of paper to have. So it tells us exactly what we're going to ask ourselves when we're trying to come up with our summary. All right, so I'm going to flip my screen around so you can see what we're doing. So hold on one second. The very first thing it asks us on our summary is our who. And on here it reminds us it could also be a what, because sometimes our character's not a person. Sometimes our character's an animal or even an object, like in our story this time. And it says, what is the subject of this article? Be sure to use the headline for information. So sometimes we can use a title as well as a headline. So if we're doing a nonfiction, we would do headline. But if we're doing a fiction, like The Tiny Seed, we're going to use the title. So the questions here say, who are the characters in the story? Main characters, and what is special about each character? Well, our whole story is about who? That's right, the tiny seed. And what is so special about this tiny seed? Well, it tells us right there, he's tiny and he's not like the others. All right, great job, guys. So it's about a tiny seed that's not like the others. Next is our what. It says it's our situation, our conflict, or an event is being described. It can also be what happened in the story, important parts of the story, main parts of the story, and how do you know? So what happened in the story about the tiny seed? Well, the tiny seed, like we said, was not like the others, and he went through many different situations to eventually become the what? The biggest plant. That's right. So he started off with this itty bitty seed, smaller than his friends, but he ended up being the biggest plant of all. All right, perfect. We have our when. This is for how long did this event occur? It could also be, when did the story take place? The time of the day, the season, the year? Was it in the future, in the past? Is it happening right now? Or was it a day of the week? Well, if I remember correctly, I remember it talking about autumn. And I remember it talking about winter. I remember it talking about spring. And I remember it talking about the sun being so bright that it burnt one of the seeds right up. So that was summer. So it would probably last, if I go through autumn, winter, spring, summer, I've gone through all 4 seasons. So it happened over a year. So it happened over the year. All right. Next is our where. It says, does this action take place? Our where could be where the story takes place. A house, a car, a bus, a school, a yard, outside, inside, a state, a city. Well, we know that it obviously took place where? Outside, because we're talking about a plant. Where else did we know? I remember it took place in the deserts, in the mountains, over an ocean. So this one took place in many places outside. And last but not least, why? Why did they make the choices that they made? So why is this important? What happened? This one has kind of a lesson. The tiny seed learned that even though he was small, He could do big things. All right. Let's get our thoughts together and let's flip to the summary sheet so we are ready to write our summary. Go ahead and get all that written down, and I'll be back in a minute. This great information we came up with from our story and turn it into just a few sentences to tell other people about the story that would make them want to read the story. So our very first thing that you're always going to do when you do a summary is you want to make sure you tell the title of the story in your very first sentence. So we're going to start off by saying The Tiny Seed is a story. And who's our character? A tiny seed. And we have to tell something exciting about him. And he was not like the others. So The Tiny Seed is a story about a tiny seed that was not like the others. And we talked about how he went on, had many different situations. But what's an exciting word we could say? This seed went on a lot of adventures. So the seed went on many adventures that lasted how long? A whole year. Great job. All right, so we've talked about our what and our who and our when. Now we need to hit our where. And where did his adventures take place? Outside, in many places. The adventures occurred. Occurred is a great word. That just means it happened. Occurred around many different places. If we want to get even more into it, we can put places like, where did it go? The desert, the ocean, and the mountains. Good job, guys. Now the next one, we can wrap it up and let's write our why. So why was this story so exciting? We said it was because the tiny seed learned that even though he was small, he could do big things. So let's wrap that up. So in the end, the tiny seed learned that even though he was small, he could do big things. All right, everybody, that was a great job. Y'all were some great detectives. Go ahead and get your summary written down for the day. Great job, detectives. You did a great job today writing a wonderful summary. We told the most important and most fun parts of our Tiny Seed story in just 3 sentences. I hope y'all have a great day. But don't forget, Miss Ella sent you a little bitty quiz to do on the story. And this is going to be for a grade. So in your packet, you should see a piece of paper. For the first part, all you're going to do is match your vocabulary words to the definitions. You can go back and watch the video again. I would highly recommend that. And you can also go back and use the vocabulary sheet we did together. Then you're going to answer just 5 comprehension questions. Your first 3 are on the front, and when you flip your paper over, it should look like this, and you should have 2 more on the back. Make sure to use Unravel and circle your keywords and eliminate your answers. I hope you have a fantastic Friday. Work really, really hard today. Get all your work done, and I'll see your beautiful faces on Monday. Bye.